What's going on, guys? Bruce Madison here, your host of Metric Scout Fantasy Football, and I decided to drop a video today on some waiver wire running backs, and this is just some basic running backs, some guys who are experiencing a change in their situation that will allow them to see more touches, or could potentially allow them to see more touches in the near future. Usually what I'll do is I'll come over spreadsheets, scrub those, and find you some targets with some discrepancies versus their workload and production. But I figured I'd do this real quick. This way you have my thoughts, feelings, and some ideas on what to do in the waiver wire for week 4 if you're in a basic redraft league, or just get the information in general so you can move forward in your league for this coming slate of games. But right now, let's take a look of what we have in store for week 4. Let's look at these basic waiver wire running backs. And it's basic on this channel because we scrub deep on the metrics and we try to find some dandies. If that's something you're into, you might want to hit that subscribe button. I already have a top 5 or a 5-player list for running backs and receivers to trade for and to look for on waivers from yesterday you may want to look at. Here are just some basic ones. A lot of sites, a lot of the other channels are talking about these guys, but I figured this might be something you guys are interested in. The first player I want to talk about today is in Jamal Williams. DeAndre Swift's going to be out for a bit. Williams is going to see the workload. Currently the RB8 right now. He should be owned in most leagues. He should be, but he has a 60% ownership on Sleeper. There's a chance that somebody watching this video, they'll go back to their league and they'll see him on waivers. There's a 40% chance of that according to Sleeper. That's going to end once waivers run here in the next day or so, depending on how your league does it. But 60% rostership here, we should see this increase massively as he's getting more touches. He's good at getting touchdowns, good at getting the production, and we should see that going forward. This week against Seattle, you're probably going to start him because he's going to get a lot of touches and a team that moves the ball, has a lot of firepower, and this game's got a 50 over-under against Seattle, which could be a sneaky game when it comes to volume. 55% opportunity share last week. That's with Swift in and out of the game, so you should expect that to increase from there. And with him being said, this is not in order from a ranking. Just take the information how it comes. But Craig Reynolds also on the Lions if you're in deeper leagues, or if you're really hurting at running back, there's really nobody available. Like, everybody really starts stashing RBs, which a lot of leagues do that, especially this year. You may want to look at him. He should see a volume increase with Swift out. I wouldn't guess Detroit would want to completely rely on Williams here, since if he gets hurt, then they're really screwed. So they may want to divert some carries to Reynolds. On Sunday, he had a 17.5 opportunity share, so he was seeing some workload. That should increase some. He should get some goal line work maybe. He might get some opportunities where he could flash. Will he be a high-volume producer? Probably not unless the ball rolls his way. Is he a guy you're really going to want to start in most leagues? Probably not. If you're in a deep league and you need a stash or a patch-up guy to fill that hole in the drywall, Craig Reynolds might be that guy for it. He might get some workload from default, and that might be a player you may want to chase. Next running back, and everybody's after him. Everybody's talking about Khalil Herbert, and rightfully so. We've been talking about off and on throughout the season because David Montgomery had him lurking over his shoulder all year so far. Herbert's going to get his opportunity. I don't know what's going on with Montgomery, how long he's going to be out. We're probably going to get more news on that soon. Even though Montgomery's out, touches for days for Herbert. He's explosive. The matchup's not super sexy, though. 39 over-under against New York. We saw how low scoring the games they can be in last night. That's against Dallas, though. A tougher defense, but still, this could be a slower game. I would expect Khalil Herbert to get a lot of touches. I would expect him to get workload while Montgomery's out. And I would expect him to see an increase in opportunity share once Montgomery does come back, if he continues to play well like he did last week. Because that's just obviously what would happen. And he's been looking good all season. Next running back here is Alexander Madison. Dalvin Cook had that shoulder injury, a dislocated shoulder. And the thing about that, I saw a blurb that Cook's doing good, should be back, but we don't know. That could be coach speak. Information changes as we get further into the week, even though Madison is going to see a larger volume of touches, or at least has the potential for that. And he should be rostered in most leagues. He really should be, due to how fragile, or the fragility rate of Dalvin Cook. And here we are back at Madison with the potential to get a bulk of the touches. Will it happen? We'll have to wait and see for information, but he's a guy I want to grab right now just in case. He might be out, and we might be able to insert Madison. When Dalvin Cook's out of the lineup, he averages 20.38 PPR fantasy points per game. It defaults to him, so the workload's going to increase to some degree. Maybe 1%, maybe 1,000,000%. We don't know, but we want to look at him. Against New Orleans this week with a 43.5 over-under. Touches are touches. You got to get them no matter what. If you're hurting at running back, you got to put a guy in. So if a running back's getting touches and you need a RB2, RB1, you really can't be picky and choosy. If Cook's out, it's only Tuesday right now, early Tuesday. If Cook's out, Madison's in. Expect Madison to get a lot of work going forward. And when Cook's been out, over his career, Madison's been averaging 20.38 PPR fantasy points. The last guy I want to talk about, a lot of people's been talking about him. I just saw a blurb that Joe Mixon should be good for this week's game. Even that, we know how injuries can be, and we know how they can crop back up or get worse with continued play. Samaje Perine might be a guy you want to stash. You want to be ahead of the market on some of these waiver wire running backs. There's more that you want to be ahead of, but you might want to be ahead of Perine. This Cincinnati offense, although they've been pretty ambiguous this year, they do pack a lot of firepower, and if something happens to Mixon, you want to be ahead of that. And Mixon was out of some of the game on Sunday. Perine was getting touches. If Perine gets work, then he could hold some value. As of right now, looks like Mixon's going to be in this week from what I've heard, but we still want to be ahead of the curve just in case he experiences an injury or re-aggravates or whatever happens. And if we move into next week or the week after and it's not looking good for Perine, Mixon's okay, you can just drop him. We're just trying to pick up these running backs ahead of schedule as an insurance policy, as a get just in case something happens in the near future. But these are some of your basic waiver wire running backs that we are looking at for week 4. I know there's more. I know there's more that you're thinking of. If there's someone else that you're picking up, just drop in the comments so someone else could see it and maybe that can jog their wheels or whatever. But these are some guys that we are looking at for the waiver wire at the running back position. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this helps you out at all, and drop that in the comments. But I want to thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Dropping all kinds of fantasy content throughout the week. Rankings, waiver wire, trading, all kinds of stuff on the daily. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.